This video will explain all of the various types of payments clubs can request when spending their funds. This can admittedly be pretty confusing, as different payment types are better suited for certain kinds of transactions, and it all involves terms you might not be familiar with. Here we are at the top of the withdrawal request form, looking at the naming convention instructions and trying to figure out what type of payment to select. I'll use the examples shown and the drop-down box of payment types to explain each in detail. Let's get started. Starting with reimbursements. Reimbursements can come in the form of cash or check, and they can go to students or non-students. The first here is cash reimbursements to students under $75, and that cash will be given out from our VU finance office up in the 5th floor of the Viking Union. You'll need to turn in hard copy receipts for any type of reimbursement. If your reimbursement request is over $75, that will come in the form of a check or as direct deposit if you have that set up with the university. For non-students who are being reimbursed, we will need a W-9 tax form to be submitted, and for students, we just need to know your W number. So, if you know a club member has paid for something out of pocket, you just need to turn in the receipts, select one of these types of reimbursements depending on the amount and whether or not they're a student, and you're all set. The next type would be university credit card. That's one of the simplest ones. You would use the university credit card as the payment option if you're needing a credit card for something like an online purchase or to make travel arrangements or something like that, where a credit card is the only way or the preferred way of making that purchase. The budget coordinator for the club will fill out this WR, and then once it's approved, the finance office will use the university credit card to make that payment. We don't typically loan out the credit card for our students to take to businesses locally, so these are typically online purchases or things that can be bought over the phone with a credit card by the finance office staff. Next on our list is open order. What the heck is an open order anyway? I do get that question a lot. Think of an open order like creating a tab with a university office or somewhere on campus that could electronically transfer funds from your account into the proper account. Like it says here in the drop-down, this opens up your club account to be billed by a university office or department. These are commonly used for on-campus services like the Publicity Center, Viking Union event services for any setup needs or takedown needs you would have for your event. Open orders are also often used for copy services or just about any on-campus service where the money will be transacted electronically. With an open order, you can make an estimate for what you think you'll be charged, but then afterwards, when the actual amount is billed to your account, you'll want to take note of any unused funds that were initially allocated in your open order. The next type of payment that is commonly used is the purchase order. A purchase order is a guarantee from Western to pay a business once that business invoices Western for the final amount. These are pieces of paper that are printed at the finance office here on the 5th floor in the Viking Union and either given to the student coordinator from the club to be delivered to the business by hand, or the purchase order may be sent to a payee by the finance office if perhaps that vendor is out of town or likes to accept purchase orders via email or fax. These are most commonly used for pizza orders. The pizza places in town are very accustomed to you accepting purchase orders. Fred Meyer and other businesses also accept these very readily, and it's a great way to get your supplies or items that you need without having to pay out of pocket and then be reimbursed later. Similar to the open order, with a purchase order, you don't have to have the exact amount figured out. If you were going to Fred Meyer to buy decorations for an event and you knew you were going to spend maybe around $85 and you wanted to get a purchase order for $100 just to be safe, that would be fine. You might even get to the store and only spend $73. No problem. You're only going to be charged for the $73, and the $100 on the purchase order was just a cushion to be safe. Next up, we have contract payments and direct payments by check. Those can be combined because when you're paying a contractor that might be a guest speaker or presenter, you're going to do that in the form of a university check. You may also have something like national dues that needs to be sent in the mail as a check. You may be paying a business off of an invoice that they've sent. With check payments, they can be either held for pickup at the VU Finance office. That's usually the case if your speaker or performer is coming to campus and you want to hand deliver the check on the day of the event. That's great. Or they may be mailed. That's why we have two different payment types here, so you can communicate that to the finance office, which way you would like the check to be delivered. It is important to know that any payment to an individual for a service will require a contract, and you need to meet with your advisor to draft up a contract 2 to 3 weeks prior at minimum to the event or service being provided. That allows time for the contracting to take place and for the withdrawal request to be approved and a check to hopefully be created before the event happens. Finally, we have the transfer of funds to a university office or department. With this option, you might be co-sponsoring an event with a department on campus and need to transfer some funds into their account. You may be co-sponsoring with another club. Really, this one allows you to transfer electronically funds from your account to another campus account. It's pretty simple. That covers all of the payment types. As always, if you get stuck or have questions, you have the Club Activities Office staff and the Viking Union Finance Office staff ready and willing to clarify anything having to do with your club's finances. So don't hesitate to visit the Club Hub in VU 425.